Hey, this is 2014 draft. I'm Dante Exum, and this is my outfit.
Welcome back, you guys, and when somebody brings up Dante Exum's name, some people might say bust, some people might say give him time, and others might say missed potential. And I want to say right now that no, Dante's career is not over or anything. I know the title kind of implies that, but that's not what I am saying at all. I have not seen a video on YouTube talking about the number 5 pick in the 2014 draft, so I decided to make a video on him. Dante Exum has basically missed 2 of the last 4 seasons since 2014 and will be hitting restricted free agency this summer. As always, subscribe if you have not already to keep up with the NBA content I will be putting out. So let's talk about Dante's career so far and how he rose up the draft boards in 2013. Dante Exum grew up playing basketball in Melbourne, Australia, and was one of the biggest mysteries going into the 2014 NBA draft. There wasn't that much tape on him, so scouts did not know how to properly rate him, but he boosted his draft stock after a game at the 2013 Nike Hoop Summit. He had 16 points and 2 steals in a game against Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Aaron Gordon, and other future NBA players. A lot of scouts were impressed by his performance there. One NBA draft site called Draft Express put Dante Exum as the 5th overall pick in their 2014 mock draft. A few months later at the FIBA Under-19 World Championship in July 2013, scouts saw that his game was not a fluke. In the tournament, he had a number of good games, which included a 33-point game against Spain and a 28-point game against Lithuania. When he officially came over to the United States in February 2014 to get ready for the draft, he was working out with a trainer I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of. His name is Tim Grover. Grover has trained with Jordan, Kobe, and D. Wade. Just off of physical measurements alone, teams liked him. He was a 6'6" guard with a 6'9" wingspan. At the NBA Draft Combine, he finished 2nd behind Zach LaVine in the lane agility drill. That drill is a test to see how quickly you can sprint, shuffle, and backpedal around the key. Exum was one of the most explosive and athletic players in the draft, so he did well at the Combine. Exum was also noted for many things, including his team-first mentality, his ability to play both guard spots, his quick first step to the rim, and his willingness to pass. Jump shooting was his biggest weakness. One NBA GM even compared him to Kobe Bryant. The reason for the comparison was that Dante was super competitive, and the teams that interviewed him said that Dante did well in the psychological testing. Now, even though the Jazz had Trey Burke, they drafted Exum with the 5th pick.
The Utah Jazz select Dante Exum from Melbourne, Australia.
In Dante's rookie season, he played in all 82 games, but he struggled as a point guard and a scorer. He looked like a really raw 19-year-old that needed time to develop as a player, and that is sort of to be expected when you're that young in the league. But after the 2015 trade deadline, Exum got a lot more playing time. The Jazz traded Enes Kanter, which opened up a spot for Rudy Gobert. They benched Trey Burke for Exum, and the Jazz became one of the best defensive teams in the league after February. His perimeter defense was the bright spot of his rookie year. But what happened over the 2015 summer was the beginning of what would hurt Exum's growth as a player. He was diagnosed with a torn ACL in his left knee at a scrimmage with the Australian national team. This injury kept him out for the entire 2015-2016 NBA season. This injury was really unfortunate because it stunted his growth as a point guard. By the time he comes back from that injury for the 2016-2017 season, he's going to have to compete for playing time on a team that is looking to make the playoffs. For the 2016-2017 season, Exum made his comeback in the preseason, and he was on the outside of Utah's rotation for part of the year. He was still doing his rehab process from the torn ACL a year ago. But overall, he bounced back and played well enough to stop the Jazz from signing Deron Williams before the All-Star break. The Jazz were looking to get a veteran backup point guard for the playoff run, but decided not to because they didn't want to restrict Dante's growth. He was getting some of that explosiveness back that he had before the injuries. Against Westbrook and the Thunder in March 2017, he dropped 22 points on 7 of 8 shooting, and in the last playoff game versus the Warriors, he scored 15 points. So moving on to this year, Dante finally had an off season where he wasn't rehabbing and was putting in work. In 3 Summer League games, Dante averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. This could have been a big year for him. With George Hill and Gordon Hayward gone, this could have been the season that he consistently showed off his flashes of potential on a Utah team that did not have many expectations. But he suffered an injury to his shoulder in a preseason game against the Suns, and he had to get surgery, which ruled him out indefinitely. This injury was unfortunate for 2 reasons. He was actually playing just as good, if not better than Ricky Rubio in the preseason. The second reason, this is Dante Exum's last year in his rookie contract. He's hoping to have a career year to get a larger deal in the offseason, but it's going to be hard to get that big deal when you haven't played that much and you've had 2 massive injuries at just 22 years old. To be fair to Dante, a lot of point guards have reached their peak later in their careers. Guys like Kyle Lowry and Mike Conley have had their best years in their late 20s. Obviously, Dante is a little bit different of a player than those guys, but I'm just trying to be optimistic. It's not often you have a point guard that is 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. Let's give him a few more years. I still think he can be a starter. But the good news is that Dante has been cleared for non-contact drills and is scheduled to make his return after the All-Star break. I'm definitely keeping up with his return back. I want to see a backcourt with Dante Exum and Donovan Mitchell. This is a good spot for him because the Jazz's playoff chances are pretty slim, so he can just go out and hoop with no added pressure. This guy has missed 2 of the last 4 seasons, so I am rooting for him. I don't want this to turn into one of those what-if scenarios. And that is it for the video of Dante Exum's career so far. I really appreciate it if you are still here. Thanks for always supporting the videos, even though my upload schedule has been pretty inconsistent. It's fun talking about hoops with you guys, so let me know what you think of Exum and his potential. I think the Jazz should re-sign him no matter what this summer. Can't just let a 6'6" point guard walk free. So as always, subscribe and like and do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in my next video.